When we talk about St. John the Evangelist, the first word that comes to our mind is love. His gospel in the book of Revelation preach about love, that love is the one thing that leads us to God. The great commandment, love God above all things and love your neighbor as yourself, are summed up in that very truth. We see here that Jesus became man and he made himself vulnerable to death. In the gospel passage today, we see that as though he was vulnerable to death just as we are, and yet his Father's great love for him raised him from the dead the third day after his crucifixion. And we too, because of the Father's love for us, will one day rise from the dead. John the Evangelist, in the first reading and both in the second one, in the gospel, says that he saw and believed. He saw Jesus, he touched Jesus, he listened to him, literally. He saw what Jesus was like, he knew him personally. And that's what he shares with us in his gospel, his personal understanding and relationship with Christ. And that's how we have come to faith, through the faith of St. John and the other apostles. And so today we give thanks to God for the witness of his truth, but it comes to us in the Holy Scriptures and in the example of his life. John lived and died at the end of the first century. He was the longest living apostle. With his death was the end of Revelation, because he was the last of the apostles to die. So today we give thanks to God for his word. We ask him to help us to deepen our own faith and to live it faithfully as John the Apostle did. Let us stand and offer our prayers and petitions.